So Henry's class, learning brought to your doorsteps. Welcome you all to our channel. This is a channel where we assess students, both those in JHS and senior high students. We'd like to take some WASSCE questions that are likely to be given to students in this year's 2023 WASSCE. My name is Sir Henry, your humble tutor. If this is your first time of watching our video, kindly subscribe to get all the notifications and be the first person to access our video. You're welcome once again. So the first question says we should define the following terms. And the first one is self. So what is self? Now self refers to the whole being of an individual, taking into consideration his or her physical or psychological abilities as well as nature. Let's define it again. Self refers to the whole being of an individual, taking into consideration his or her physical and psychological nature as well as abilities. That is self. So you can continue further and talk more about it. It also includes the total sum of perception, beliefs, actions, and sometimes behaviors of an individual. And let's go to self-confidence. So the second one says we should define self-confidence. So what is self-confidence? As the word goes, confidence. Self-confidence is the trust that an individual has in himself or herself, which makes him or her capable of doing things very well. Self-confidence is the trust that an individual has in himself or herself, which makes him or her do things very well, or which makes him or her capable of doing things very well. Okay, now the next question says we should explain 4 ways by which individuals can develop their capabilities. Okay, sorry, we're asked to define capabilities as well. So what is capabilities? Now capabilities simply refers to the strength of an individual. It generally talks about the things that an individual is able to do. That is capability. It's the sum total of the strength of an individual, which includes the things that the individual can do. And that is capabilities. Okay, so let's continue. Now the next question says we should explain 4 ways by which individuals can develop their capabilities. So how can individuals develop their capabilities? 1. Education and training. Since the question comes with explanation, explain, so we need to. So the first one talks about education and training. So individuals must be educated and trained in order to identify their potentials and use them effectively for their betterment. Education and training will introduce the individual to new ways of doing things, identifying their potentials and utilizing them to ensure development of themselves, which will contribute to national development. That is education and training. The next one is having a vision or goal. So individuals must set targets for themselves and have an aim of achieving those targets. They must be visionary and also have visions which they would aspire to achieve them in the near future. And aside that, we can also talk about self-determination. So as individuals, they must be determined to set tasks for themselves and also accomplish them, which will help them to improve upon their abilities or potentials. We can also add one to it, that is personal drive and self-confidence. So individuals must have the trust and be determined to set tasks for themselves and complete them in order to identify their potentials and improve upon them to ensure their development. Okay. So the next one says we should define I, that is adolescent reproductive health. So what is adolescent reproductive health? It is the state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being in all matters relating to the reproductive system and to its functions and processes. Or someone also say adolescent reproductive health refers to the knowledge an individual has about himself relating to his or her reproductive system and how it works. The next one talks about reproductive rights. Reproductive rights are the rights that allows couple to determine the spacing, the number, and the um, type and the number of children that they will have in their family. So reproductive rights is the right of couple to determine freely the number, the spacing of children to be produced in a family. Number 4, list any 6 irresponsible adolescent behavior in the community. So basically, irresponsible adolescent behavior are the acts or the norms or the behaviors that are not accepted by the society, or the acts or the norms that do not conform to the rules and regulations in the society. And some of these irresponsible adolescent behavior include smoking, drug abuse, prostitution, streetism, pickpocketing, alcoholism, lesbianism, masturbation, watching of pornography, stealing, and the like. Now, with questions like this, it is necessary for you to also check the marks. Because with social studies, some of the questions will just come with list, but the marks there requires you to write more. So the clue is that always watch the marks. So with a question like this, list 6 irresponsible adolescent behavior in a community. If the question has 8 marks, okay, 8 will be small. So let's say 12 marks, but they are asking you to give 6. So since it's 12, means 2 for each of the 6 points, making 12. So when you give the point is 1, you need to also write something small in the form of a short explanation to fight for the or battle for the other one to make it 2. Okay, so let's go to number 5. Now we state 4 effects of irresponsible adolescent behavior. So after these acts, okay, which we just mentioned or listed, what will be the effect or the repercussions of these acts? So 1, we can talk about the effect 1, we can talk about loss of dignity. So when people engage in acts such as smoking, drug abuse, and the like, they lose the respect that they've acquired from the people, and that is one negative effect of irresponsible adolescent behavior. So you can also talk about neglect by parents and the society. People who actively engage in irresponsible adolescent behaviors such as smoking, drug abuse, and the like, are mostly rejected and secluded from the society, and this can also create further problems such as mental illness, death, or sometimes imprisonment. The next one, we can also talk about death or imprisonment. So one effect of taking in drugs, hard drugs such as cocaine and the like, can also attribute to imprisonment or sometimes death. The next one, I can also talk about mental illnesses. So the intake of hard drugs can also create mental problems in the adolescent. There are more of this. You can also talk about, it can lead to unwanted pregnancies. It can also lead to abortion and its associated effects. It can lead to the contraction of sexually transmitted infections. It can also create a bad name for a person and the like. Okay. So the next one says 6. Name 4 festivals and the people that celebrate them. So festivals are special occasions celebrated by people to mark special, historic, or important events. Some of these festivals include, so we have Homowo, celebrated by the Ga to hoot at hunger. We have the Hogbechocho festival, celebrated by the Anlo to remember their successful escape from Nochi under Kenagokoli. We also have a festival called Odra Festival, a festival for cleansing, celebrated by the Kwapem. We have the Adekese, celebrated by the Ashantis. We have the Damba Festival, celebrated by the Dagombes. We have Kundum Festival by the Nzima. We also have Fetu Afashe by the Ugwa or Cape Coast people. We also have Bakatui by the people of Elmina. Okay, now let's move to number 7. So 7A, define national integration. Define national integration. Now, national integration means bringing together all people of different ethnic groups into one common society with a common sense of togetherness. National integration simply means bringing together people from different ethnic groups to form one common society with a common sense of togetherness. Now 7B, in what 4 ways can national integration be promoted in Ghana? So national integration simply talks about unity. So what are some of the ways we can promote unity among people in Ghana? 1, public education. So the media should actively educate people about the need to have peace and also unity in the country, since unity can also contribute to development. When there's unity, it can also improve productivity. Second one, we can also talk about celebration of national festivals. The government can periodically organize national festivals like the Panafest, like the Festac, and the like to promote national integration among people. Also, organizing sporting activities. So there should be periodic or frequent sporting activities that would encourage people to have a common sense of togetherness and unify them to form one common society. You can also talk about encouraging boarding school system, respecting the culture of other people, abolishing ethnocentrism or tribalism. We can also talk about um, respecting other people's ethnic groups, tolerance among people or tolerating divergent views. Now let's move to the next question. Define the term self-reliance. Self-reliance. So self-reliance means the ability of a country to depend on its own resources, that is natural, capital, or human resources for survival. The ability of a country to depend on its own resources, that is natural capital and human for survival. Self-reliance also implies a country to depend heavily on what they have and not to depend on other countries. You can also add that to your definition. And the next one says we should suggest 4 measures Ghana can take to be self-reliant. What are some of the ways that we can actually employ to ensure that Ghana depends on its own resources for survival? 1, we must grow what we eat and eat what we grow. So as a country, we should define the habit of borrowing from other countries and improve agriculture. We must grow what we eat and eat what we grow in order to make us self-reliant. By doing so, money which will be used for importing items into the country will be diverted to other sectors of the country to promote development. We can also talk about developing our human resources. The country should actively, or the government should develop its human resources since they contribute to development of the country. The needed machines, modern technology, motivation, and all forms of incentives that they need in order to promote productivity should be met, and this can help in making Ghana a self-reliant country. We can also talk about adding value to our primary product. The country, before exporting primary products such as gold, timber, and the like, should process them into finished or semi-finished goods to acquire higher foreign exchange. We can also talk about promoting agricultural activities. We can also talk about depending on local experts. We can also talk about so we talked about promoting agriculture. So we can also talk about motivation and supervision of our human resources to promote productivity. Then the ninth last part 1, that is explain the term technology. So technology is the application of scientific findings and knowledge to solve the problems of man. The application of scientific findings and knowledge to solve the problems of man. The word says explain, so you can't just define. We've defined. Explain means you tell us more. So technology heavily depends on science. Science is a body that deals with the acquisition of knowledge, whilst technology uses the knowledge to create goods or services to satisfy the needs of man. Technology can be seen in areas such as agriculture, such as communication, such as transport, such as science field, and the like. Examples of technology include the automated teller machine, ATM machine, used for retrieving money, mobile phones used for researching and educational purposes, cars which helps in transportation, X-ray machine that help in identifying diseases in humans, and also bringing out photographs of the internal structure of humans and the like. So you've explained, you've told us more. Then last but not least, that is in what 4 ways can science and technology contribute to development in a country? It's basically talking about some importance of science and technology and how it can promote development. So here, 1, in terms of communication, technology has introduced mobile phones which helps in communicating to people who are far away from us. We can also talk about, in terms of agriculture, technology has introduced fertilizers that are used as a means of improving agricultural activities. These fertilizers neutralize the soil with nutrients, and that is one major achievement of technology. Aside that, we can talk about, it has solved transportation problems by introducing trains, cars, and the like. We can also talk about, in terms of health, it has introduced modern health delivery system and the use of X-ray machines and other cardiothoracic machines, or machines that are used for tracking diseases relating to the heart and other organs of the body. We can also talk about science and technology bringing about machines that are able to do work that are dangerous for man. We can also talk about science leading to the introduction of, yes, so science and technology leading to the introduction of robots that are able to do work that are dangerous for humans to do, and more and more and more of this. Yes, so these are some few questions that we have. We'll come your way with more of them, but now this is what we have. We are hoping and praying that in our WASSCE we'll meet similar questions like this. And please, it's not Apple, as we call it, or leaked questions. These are some projective questions that are likely to be seen in our WASSCE questions. So have a nice day, and this is Seren's class. You're welcome. Subscribe if you've not done so. So for now, it is bye.